Hello YouTube watchers. My camera's loaded and batteries are charged and I'm sitting here thinking I've always wanted to make an espresso coffee video to help people trying to learn how to do their own espressos. So hopefully you'll enjoy this. Okay, so I have the cheapest espresso coffee maker that you could find out there, and I don't even know if they make this anymore. If you happen to find it, this machine is from Mr. Coffee, and it makes espresso coffees and coffee drinks with the heated up foam milk for about $40. And if you could find it, where they're trying to liquidate it, you can get it for even cheaper. I've seen it cheaper. Anyhow, it does take some skill to use this machine to get a good cup of coffee. It's not an easy automatic machine at all, but if you learn some tricks, you can have a great cup of coffee. Let's get started. First of all, understanding how to make espresso is the important thing. You have to have coffee grounds that are finely ground. Usually they taste better, whatever you like to taste. And usually they do a really dark roast, but you can do it with a blonde roast. It tastes good too. The idea is to get a super hot steam pressed through the finely compacted grounds. The pressure pushes out all the nice coffee flavor and oils, and you get a kind of condensed coffee espresso in the bottom of the cup. So in order to do that, you have to have a machine that's capable of providing the pressure, and that's the secret. Besides having the right coffee, good fresh water. And so let's see what we can do with this machine to get those benefits, okay? Get those results. This is the coffee machine. Put the water in, turn it on, water comes out. Steam cup. This is a measuring cup that comes with my machine. Scooper. But what happens with this machine is you want to have everything warmed up first in order to get a really good cup of coffee. So what I do is run hot water through it first, and instead of letting the machine warm up the water every time, I use this to get my water preheated so that everything is much quicker, and it helps me have a cup of coffee within 5 or 6 minutes in the morning without having to wait too long. I do have my coffee grinder, and I have mine set up almost to the very finest ground possible. I think I like the flavor better when it's very finely ground. And having a fine ground helps build pressure up as the hot water comes through the machine. All the compacted grounds causes the pressure to build up more, which you need the maximum from this machine in order to get a good cup of coffee. Okay, so let's get started. Always start with filtered water, because if you use tap water with a lot of minerals, your machine is going to get full of deposits inside the boiler. So what I use is this regular refrigerator filter, which I keep clean. Okay, so I make enough water, preheat enough water to heat up the machine and my cup, to make the coffee, and then to rinse it out with some fresh water after I'm done brewing the espresso. Okay, so now that the water is heated up sufficiently, I have a little trick to show you that helps get a really good cup of coffee, but let me show you what I'm doing first before I show you the actual thing here. On the coffee maker itself, this is called a portafilter. And you can see inside has a place for you to put the coffee grounds, and they have little tiny holes. Now, when you put the coffee grounds in and you press it down with the tamper, it kind of slows the amount of the speed in which the hot water and steam can come down through. And actually, if your pump on your espresso machine is not that powerful, you want to have as much buildup. So what I do is I put extra filtering in with these holes to make the flow of the water and steam even slower to come out through the portafilter to get a richer cup of coffee and more pressure. So this is your basic filter paper. You put a circle on, you cut out, and then you have a bunch of these little circles. These I find out if you put one, it's good, two is better, three. I got 5 filters which I put down into the bottom of the portafilter. It's worth it for me. I like a good cup of coffee. Now you have this. You want to warm this up. Put the portafilter back on. Put a little amount of hot water into the machine, which is already preheated. I'll put about the half desired that I need. I don't need a full cup of this, but it's just to warm up the machine, get everything nice and ready. The way this machine works is you just put the water in, you close the top, and you turn it on. Here's something that helps. The machine has a switch that goes from brew off into steam. Okay, now you have to operate this machine correctly, or else if you open something up or take something off while it's under pressure, it will shoot coffee grounds everywhere. So be careful how you operate this. Now what I want to do is have this in the on position, but have it controlled by a switch here, which makes everything much easier. So here's my coffee cup. I'm going to make a huge cappuccino. I want to warm my cup up. So I got the water in, the power on the unit is on, and I turn on the power, and then my unit's on. So the hot water is already hot. So it shouldn't take long for this to start filling up with hot water. Let this go. Meanwhile, I'm going to pour some milk into my milk pot. I filled up this container to do my frothing about this high. And when I'm done with the frothing, it'll be up about this high. That's waiting for it to go. Hot water's coming out, heating up my cup. It's also cleaning out everything in the machine. Fresh water coming through. Any little debris left in the portafilter is going to be cleaned out, and the filters are going to be all rinsed with hot water. Okay, so that's done. So what we want to do is take the heat off, but leave the switch on in the brew mode. Once the steam level is down, we can open this up. And see how much pressure's inside. Okay, it's done. Pressure's off. Okay. Always do that slowly. In the hot cup. Portafilter comes off with no pressure shooting everywhere. There you go. You got your filters. Let's load up some espresso grounds. I have a can here. This is not the brand I use. It's just a can. Get the best coffee you can buy, or a reasonable amount. I'm going to do 2 scoops, slightly rounded over the top into the portafilter. I want to make a huge mess of coffee grounds everywhere. It does happen once in a while when I'm tired, sleepy. Okay. All right. So you see what that looks like. So we're gonna push this down. I have a tamper that comes with my scoop. Pretty good. Get all the excess grounds off there. You're gonna wanna give it a nice firm tamping, but don't really muscle it down in there. But even if you do muscle it in there, it will still work, but it takes a little longer. Right, so it's nice and firm. Clean off the rim. I don't want this coffee grounds with the rim on top of it. All right, now it's ready. Put the hot water out of my cup, dump it. My sink's right there. Put some fresh hot water into this beaker and fill it up to the top point, which is enough to make your coffee and have steam for your milk. It's kind of warm, so be careful when you handle it. All right, fill it up. Remember, we turned the power off, so it's not going to bubble out. And if the power was on this whole time and you put the hot water in, it would splash out. Power's off. Still in brew mode. Everything's ready for espresso. So here we go. Turn the switch on. Take a few seconds. Let me get a paper towel. There we go. Let's put this back over here. This paper towel, I'm going to use it to wipe my steamer wand after a while, so I have a little bit of water on this paper towel. It seems to clean it up pretty well after steam melt. Alright, so here it comes. So let me show you what it looks like when it comes out. With fine ground, compacted espresso ground coffee and 5 filters. The unit is boiling. Pressure's coming down. And we're starting to get the espresso into the cup. Now if you have a regular drip coffee ground in there, you'll see that it will be pouring out into this cup really fast, and then it will not taste like espresso. And when you add any milk to it, it's just going to be like all milk coffee and hardly any flavor. Let's see if we can get over here. We're getting a nice color on that espresso. I've tried using this machine in a lot of different ways, and I found this is the best cup of coffee. Better than going to a boutique coffee. It's really good. Trust me. It does take some skill, though. There's getting some crema on top right now. It's starting to really push out all the oil and flavors. Takes a few seconds. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really good looking. That's some good espresso right there. Now this is a cheap machine. Some machines are expensive because they're automatic. They're really easy to use. You can't really screw it up. Once the flow of coffee starts coming out really fast on this, you know you have about 2 ounces of espresso. That's what I've found. Okay, so we're pretty much almost ready with this. We're going to put this into the off mode, and then we're going to do our cream or milk. I'm using whole milk. To me, this works better than the low-fat milks. It foams better and it tastes better. All right, so I turn on the steamer mode. And I have the tip of the steamer just barely in there, so that it starts to make that sound of air being pushed down the bottom. Everything's going really fast in circular motion. Just kind of keep it there. You notice my hand on the bottom, I could feel the temperature. And once it gets to the right temperature, I know I don't have to do it anymore. Another sign that it's almost done is that the volume of the milk has expanded to almost to the top of the container. So right now I know I could add a little bit more air, so I let the cup go a little further down. Sometimes the bubbles will come up, and you let the air flow or the steam pull the bubbles back to the bottom. Yeah, it's getting warm. I can feel it. The machine is really bubbling. I don't want any large bubbles in my foam. Real small. So right before I finish off, it's getting much warmer now. I'm going to let the tip go a little deeper under the surface to drag the big bubbles down. And I think I'm getting close to there. Alright, that's how I do it. It's almost to the top. Okay, done. Now I'll turn the machine to the off mode. Pop the bubbles if there is any. Doing that. Now we're ready to do our pour. I'm going to hold the camera, and it's as simple as this. I stop halfway. I don't like really the really dark crema on top. I like to mix it a little bit first before I finish. Now it has like a nice mix of milk and crema. Now I'm going to finish up. There we go. I could have done better. Okay. Goodness gracious, I love this coffee. Now, you can give this to your friends. Hey, have an espresso. Drink it yourself, enjoy it. After you're done, you're going to want to clean out your machine to get it ready for the next time. So here's how we do that. Let me set this over here. All right, so everything's in the off position. Power's on. You want to turn the power off. This is my container, which I catch all the leftover stuff. I want to run the rest of the water out through my grounds and kind of purge the system. So we'll just turn it back on. Turn the power on. The rest of the coffee will come out, and it's amazing how much faster the coffee comes out now. It starts coming out. Keep this clean. I'm gonna rinse out my milk steamer cup. All right, so now it's really coming out. You want all the water out of there, out of the reservoir. It gets all the rest of the flavor out of the grounds. And what I do, I save my grounds for the garden. And I want to have the steam dry out the grounds so they don't have the wet, sloppy grounds. So that's what's happening right now. So I hope that was informative to you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Maybe you think it's too much trouble to make espresso. Well, it is. It does take a little bit of effort to do if you do it like this. There's other ways to do it too. It's a lot of ways to make espresso coffee, and each one tastes a little different. But I have to tell you, this one tastes great. It's a really good cup of coffee. And I felt enthused to do this video because I even combed my hair a little bit to do it because I didn't want to look too scruffy, but I know I look scruffy. Sorry about that. But I don't care. I'm having fun. Have a good day. Bye-bye.